What's up, y'all? This is JT. As you can see, there is no studs in this corner. None of them were touching any sort of a sill plate. There was actually no sill plate all along here, and there was a little bit of good, but I cut it out because I cut the subfloor back. And as you can see in this corner, all the rot has gotten into this corner, so I don't know what I'm going to do to save that. I'm going to have to use some wicked thick baseboard, and as you can see, it's just loose, so I might actually pull a couple pieces of these out. The rot continues around the corner. The outside main joist is actually gone. This one right here was scabbed in and bolted up to the original joist. As you can see, the original joist is actually sitting low, and so I don't know if this is the same height as a new scab that I just put in, and I didn't do it exactly correct because I did it from the outside. And how I did it was I took one of these screw jacks and I put it under this stud right next to my board. I had to move it over to get the board in place, and I already had it glued with Tight Bond, which is probably leaking everywhere. Tight Bond 3, and this is treated wood. But as you can see, it's tied up to the floor, and it wasn't before. And there's about 15 screws in it. And that's all I could reach. That's all I could do. I might be able to drill and get a bolt in there, but somehow I'd have to get in the crawl space, which I haven't figured out how. So this is literally going to be one piece at a time. And this little 2x6, it's a 10-footer. I just kind of wedged it in and kind of tipped up the back side of it to get the final screws in the back side, because what it was doing was sagging down. There's nothing under there to hold it. I have nothing jacked up underneath. But as you can see, it pulled tight. And to finish it off, when I can finally get in the crawl space, I'm going to put bolts. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that. I might actually cut out the floor by the front door and then come back in, because it's all hardwood floor. I might do that and then tile it in, or I mean, fuck, just rip this corner out because it's already trashed. I just don't have any hardwood floor to replace it with, and it'll look strange because it'll be from a different era of time. But basically what I started out doing was I had my patch panels, and I just cut, I marked where they were, and then I cut a little bit below them, so I left strips to screw to when I go to put my protection back up, if I don't get this all finished, which I don't think I'm going to, because it's already getting dark. It's about 6 o'clock or something like that. But I got my first one sistered in. It's glued and screwed. These are the good screws. They are a lifetime warranty, I believe. It said somewhere on the package, lifetime warranty. Something, limited lifetime warranty, free bit. Well, that bit's lost in the box somewhere. But anyways, these two right here, these were scabbed in at some other point because this whole corner was falling down, and the whole corner of the house is coming down with it. And so they scabbed these out, but you can see where there's a little bit left of the rim joist, and there's a little bit left right there. There's actually some good in there. That's crazy. You can see that joist is torched, so I'm gonna get on probably on the other side of it. But right now, what I'm gonna do is cut this off, cut that off right there, and I'm gonna do as best I can to run a straight line up to this pipe or up to the edge of this. I'll probably actually stop before the edge of this, that way I can kind of zigzag pattern it, brick it. But this right here, this little piece, it's still structurally sound, this piece of wood underneath the sill, but it's loose for some reason. I haven't figured that out. But I think I'm actually going to leave it because it doesn't seem like it's rotten. Or what I could do is fucking yank it out of there. And then I got my pile of rigid tools right here in front of me. And just what I'm going to do is rip some Advantech, which is 3/4, and replace all underneath the sill with Advantech, which they did scab in this piece of 3/4 ply, which is not even, as you can see, it's not even at the level of the top of where the joist should be. It's not even at that level. And when I put this one in, it's hard to tell, you're not gonna be able to see it because I just pushed dust in the corner, but it's actually sitting up to where it was before. It was actually way lower, and now there's kind of like a little bow in the floor because this corner is sunk down. But they put this 3/4 ply in. It's not even up high enough. I'm just gonna cut this out as best I can. I already cut a section of it out so that I can get my, like I said, get these joists aligned. This is already cut with the jigsaw. Did my best to cut a straight line. Probably not straight, don't care. And then cut this one as well with whatever I can use. Maybe that, I don't know, that'll take forever. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just knock this gutter off and cut it from the outside with my Sawzall. Or maybe I can bend the Sawzall blade around the corner. I'm not really sure. This is freaking ghetto. I hate when people do ghetto shit. This thing underneath here is not even screwed to anything. It is loose. I don't even know what these people were thinking or what they were smoking. But damn, I'd like to get a hold of some of that. But as you can see, I'm just gonna piece by piece get this in here. If you try to scab in a piece here and a piece there, you're gonna have so little room to get your impact in there to even put screws in, especially when you got to use one of these things to hold your screw from falling, reaching down inside the crawl space. But that's where I'm at. This whole front of this house is just garbage. It's trash. But I do, real quick while I'm taking a smoke break, I do have some lumber handy. Went to the depot and got some lumber. So I've got some 2x8. Don't know if I have enough. And I got sill plate. This goes on the foundation, 2x6. This is all treated. And yeah, treated is going to be a lot better for that stuff than what they used, which was non-treated. And then for also the studs that I'm replacing, I'm also using treated, which is not necessarily what you're supposed to do. But if I put a vapor barrier on the inside, run some plastic up the wall, anything that would normally get through. And as you can see, I'm holding up a chunk of the house with two 2x4s kind of sistered onto a decent joist, or I mean a decent stud. And as you can see, by decent, I mean it is not decent. But I got it screwed all the way up to about a foot short of the top plates. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of nothing holding these up. So basically, I can go in here and I can scab in a small piece of 2x6 for the sill plate, and then I can sister next to it. But this one is completely rotten, so I'm gonna have to go way far back. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I have to get under the floor somehow, so I have to create a way for me to get under there so that I can actually get my huge 3-ton car jack up there. Use some 4x4s, go across at least 3 or 4. I wouldn't go any more than 3 or 4. You're gonna hear a lot of popping and cracking. And stay away from the glass as much as possible. If you can, take it out. But that's just where I'm at right now. I got one freaking piece in, and I've been here for like 2 hours. Some of that time I was setting up, pulling off my plywood, cutting out some studs. As you can see, there's no studs in the corner. And I know you're thinking to yourself, that's dangerous. Why would you do that? Well, they weren't actually touching anything. Picture it like this right here, except for it was rotten to about right here, and there was nothing underneath it, so there was nothing touching. They were free floating. This one right here, this one's solid under the window, and so that is helping hold up the corners. And I do believe as it goes in further on this wall, they do become more solid. And I don't know how far that joist is actually gone or trashed, so I have to go investigate that so that I can finally start scabbing in this last joist and then start running my rim joist. And I only have 8-foot pieces, so I can only go 8 foot, and 16 on center at 8 foot should be okay. Well, we got people playing music. I should be able to make six joists, if I'm not incorrect. I don't know, I can't think right now. This is just baffling me. I'm like literally laying and working on a pile of bricks right here. But I'll keep you updated.